Jason, I think we're actually recording now.
All right.
Because for you viewers at home, this is Jason. Jason will give his full introduction in a moment. Jason had a rather long, extensive, heartfelt interview or discussion with me yesterday.
Absolutely.
That there was a technical difficulty that had nothing to do with me whatsoever. There's no chance it had anything to do with me. But the full recording did not actually happen because a pixie or imp came down and actually hit the stop recording button. And we both know that couldn't be my fault.
Absolutely not. I'm going to
could not be an oversight.
To the hardware manufacturer after this, because that was magic. We had an audience here.
We did. We had like 40 people looking. We had the Prime Minister of some unrecognized country.
The warmest, heartfelt comments I had ever heard from them, particularly.
I would feel so guilty if I had any responsibility for losing that video. So, anyways,
second try is the best, right? This is going to be more refined, more polished. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, we're being recorded right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Jason, good to see you. Here we are, of course, at Hong Kong Blockchain Week.
Yes.
We're at the Asia World Expo Center.
Absolutely.
The conference, I believe, is being put on by NexChange. A good group of people. And I'm happy to see you here. So why don't you give your full introduction of yourself,
yes,
of DNA, and then I'll start quizzing you aggressively with questions and comments that you got away like a pro like last time.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So I'm Jason Fishman. I'm a marketer. I run a blockchain marketing agency called DNA, Digital Niche Agency, out of Los Angeles. And we've worked
I'm here as well.
We've worked with over 250 companies over the past 5 years, over 100 fundraising initiatives. Of that, we build out full marketing strategies, a full 8-point system that we use, and focus on content marketing, advertising, and direct outreach campaigns. Also get to speak at exciting conferences such as this around the world, around thought leaders such as yourself.
Amazing. And I think also, we mentioned last time, I'm going to keep on referencing the last interview. Or discussion. This is your first time in Hong Kong as well, is that correct?
First time in Hong Kong.
What do you think?
Been taking it all in, took the gondola up the hill, been going to the after parties,
you did that without me?
No, just the one on the island here. We're looking forward to the historic one later.
Okay, thank you. So yes, do you like Hong Kong?
Love it.
It is working for you?
Yes.
Yeah, my only prior exposure to China was Shanghai Airport.
Okay.
And just from that, I gotta say, there's a different feel.
Didn't get the full experience from just the airport.
No, I did not get the full experience from just the airport, but also Hong Kong. I'm just leaping to conclusions, but Shanghai Airport, I was discussing with our colleague Brad. I could sort of feel the governmental processes being something they have to work through, whereas landing in Hong Kong, they just whisk you right through.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you got your Uber and you're at your hotel, and life was
easy
good.
Process.
It's
simple and easy.
Interesting. It's an interesting hybrid system here.
And everyone speaks English here.
Yeah.
I should know Cantonese, Mandarin, more languages, but it's been nice as an American arriving and being able to talk to Uber drivers, waiters, anywhere I go. It's not what I expected.
The food is amazing. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, keto may be taking, I'm not down with keto, but keto's taking a slight pause.
A little keto break?
A little, yeah.
Cheat week?
Yeah, you're not really supposed to do that. Because your metabolism, well, it's a whole long story. So, now you've gone through a professional evolution over time. I understand that you've been involved in marketing for a long time and working in the fundraising space, but that's evolved from sort of pre-crypto time to now.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through, how did you get into what you're doing in the first place? What was your pre-crypto fundraising life like?
Yeah.
Post. And then also, I think you mentioned you had some involvement with crowdfunding, sort of Kickstarter, Indiegogo type.
Yeah.
So go for it.
I can tell the full story. Spread the word.
Lay it on.
So, as I mentioned, marketer. I first started at a creative agency, moved to a traditional agency, started working with startups. A social gaming company out of Santa Monica. We raised $3 million in seed capital. Took over 75 investor meetings, over 75 decks that I actually worked on directly. It was a strenuous process, and that was a successful one at that. First experience with fundraising. And then moved on to the world of ad tech. Actually, a partner of that social gaming companies. And started selling mobile and tablet advertising. And in the early days of iPad, in the early days of tablet, so it was an emerging technology. We were working with print publishers for their mobile and tablet editions, and I had the opportunity of working with many top 100 advertisers. Got a good feel for what worked and what didn't work across the full spectrum of industries, budget levels, timelines. I was sitting down with the top brands, marketing directors, agencies, and consulting them on their mobile and tablet strategies before activating campaigns on their behalf. Was asked to partner in DNA and basically do the same thing, but for startup to mid-stage brands, some larger groups as well, but all around launches. We look at it as a launch agency, a growth agency. And while doing that, found fundraising to be a common theme, and quickly found ourselves in the world of equity crowdfunding, specifically Reg D, accredited investor raises.
Pause for a second. Were you in the CF space also?
Not at that time. This
Not
was
at that time.
2014. Okay. CF, Jobs Act was in conversation.
Right.
We started working on Reg CFs upon activation in May of 2016.
Okay, so you started off with Reg D
2014.
Got it.
Yeah.
Probably at that time, 506B or 5. Okay, go on.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, exactly. And so with my experience in ad tech, we were leveraging third-party data to reach high net worth audiences, high household income audiences, high risk, high return investors, highly active investors, vetting these third-party data partners that were available to us and optimizing towards the ones that were working best. In turn, we found it was smart to invest in the development of our own investor data, which we use through today. It's an evolving structure that we've built to be building real-time investor data. And we run some of the top Reg D campaigns on equity crowdfunding sites. We became a referral partner, recommended partner, I should say, of those sites. From there, we got attention.
That says a lot. I mean, that has to.
Yeah.
This is people's money and future prospects and entrepreneurial ventures that we're talking about.
Hopes and dreams, absolutely. So, and in many cases, we're on the front line of performance with marketing. So it's really looking to get their value, their product, their offering out to the right audiences as quickly as possible. And by really valuing their time, appreciating their efforts, we've been able to get it out in quick windows, quick turnarounds. We started getting attention from the reward-based crowdfunding world, as you were mentioning, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, built white label partnerships where our media buying or influencer marketing was then being used by some of the top crowdfunding agencies. Ran campaigns with crowdfunding companies, startups on that platform direct as well. It's a lot of work, it's a short window of time, it's all about the pre-launch, you got to raise the first third in the first 24 hours, then to the offices of Indiegogo.
Well, you're saying with the now?
With the reward-based campaigns.
Okay. Has that evolved in this new space with those timelines? We're just kind of rip on that for a moment.
Pre-launch is crucial because in the first 24 hours of a reward-based campaign, if you don't hit 30% of your goal, there's a 75% chance it will not hit its goal. It's a 30-day window. And these are smaller initiatives, 25K, 50K, very common Indiegogo crowdfunding size. Successful ones can go to 100K to 500K regularly. Very successful ones, the outstanding levels of performance are more of $1 million to 10 million, but few and far between.
Interesting. All right, go on.
So moving on to Reg CF launch in 2016, we were contracted to run campaigns on the day of activation and continued building relationships with equity crowdfunding portals. We then, with success, were asked to work on Reg A's, up to 50 million cap, test the waters, and our pre-launch phase where we could announce the offering, where Reg CF we could not announce the offering until it was live.
Right.
So big sets of reservations. Then again, ran some of the top Reg A's on these platforms, became a recommended marketing partner of them. I've run over 50 Reg CFs alone, have a strong portfolio of Reg A's as well. 2017 is when we started getting inquiries around ICOs. Those turned to STOs in 2018. Starting to use the same filings, Reg CF, Reg D, campaigns that involve plans for tokenized Reg A's, and it's basically gone full circle for us. So we're still working in that regulated fundraising space.
And has that been, you and I, of course, have talked about this, how settled or unsettled is the Reg A STO connection and process?
Sure. I think the Reg A approval from the SEC for tokenized offers will change the industry, because what it opens up right now, Reg CF caps at 1.07 million. It can be done concurrently, and you'd be the one to speak to about this, but for Reg D and credit investors on those filings, but it just doesn't compare to what ICOs were doing in 2017. It's a drop in the bucket to look at $1 million in comparison to campaigns that did $50 million in the first hour, first day. So
I actually find Reg CF fantastically frustrating.
Yes.
I was about to say you may have a different perspective, but maybe you don't. I personally, I'll give you my point of view, and you can push back as you see fit.
Sure.
I find the 1 million more or less cap just an exercise in futility. It's not fantastically simple.
No.
You're dealing with the smallest of the small retail investors who are the most likely to need their hands held and get pissed.
Yes.
And it's not in any way what it could have been.
Correct.
And I find it fantastically frustrating. I also find the Reg A Plus was supposed to blow the doors open on this crowdfunding mini IPO process. And I think it's, obviously it's been modified. Now we have A Plus, but it still doesn't really accomplish what it should have, which is part of the reason, I think, that people went to ICOs because they're out of frustration with the small offerings. So I admire for you working in this field. I know it's a difficult field, it's a challenging field. I look forward to, just separate from tokenization, separate from crypto, I look forward to a methodology where small issuers can raise appropriate capital early without spending a lot of money on guys like me.
Sure.
Because they still need to do it. It's rough, and I'm watching other countries run circles around this.
Yeah.
They're crowdfunding, so
I could speak in depth about this. Basically, I think why Reg A has not hit the levels it was once projected to is there's not very strong investor success stories, at least that come across my desk.
Right.
Meaning no one is retiring off no one's buying Lamborghinis off their Reg A holdings, their Reg A exits. Where in the ICO market, with that liquidity, those were stories. There were big elaborate stories about short trades that had very strong returns. And because that didn't happen in equity crowdfunding, because the social sharing didn't occur to the same level, it's something I still have to explain to people on a daily basis. And I even remember a point last year where I was explaining to people on calls what regulation equity crowdfunding was. Meanwhile, friends and family were asking me about ICOs, cryptocurrency on a daily basis. The disconnect was huge in terms of the awareness. And the obstacles for Reg CF, the frustration that can be involved when things aren't working, or even when they are in many cases, it is very valid, what you point out there.
I mean, when even when CF works, it's not that great. It's $1 million.
Yes.
And
when you look at the fees just to get everything structured, then the fees to start testing marketing, then the fees to start scaling the marketing, which in equity crowdfunding, there's a figure of 10%. When the marketing's working, anticipate spending 10% of what you're trying to raise on a Reg A, on a Reg CF. So when you start looking at the cost of that money and comparing it to other vehicles, it can be a real consideration, if nothing else. Now, the marketing value that comes along with a successful raise is something to point out. When you do a successful Reg CF, people talk about it. You're able to publish it, everything that you're doing. You now have an army of ambassadors, of user owners, which can be very, very valuable to companies.
Let me pause for a second. I get the theory of what you're saying.
Yes.
In terms of, I'm a direct guy, so I'll ask direct questions. In terms of practical impact, 6 months, a year later, does that Reg CF army, quote unquote, move the dial in a way that justifies investment of time and effort involved in doing CF?
Yes.
Okay.
And without giving specific examples of clients and other groups in the space, there's been organizations that build an audience and continue to use that audience raise after raise because of how.
Everyone, there's a big dinosaur behind us in the screen, and I'll try to get it to come over. And if the dinosaur does come over, we will, of course, pause this conversation for a moment. But that's what happens in Hong Kong. It's almost, Godzilla finished with Tokyo, so now it's over here, I guess.
There's projection tools that can assign a number to how much a company can raise based on their audience size.
Right.
So when they're doing future rounds of raises, it becomes extremely valuable. When they're trying to run their own e-commerce or their own user acquisition growth campaigns and leveraging that audience for social sharing, it works very well. It is something that comes to life, and particularly if you closed a round from one investor or a few investors to raise $1 million, or you had 1,000 investors putting in 1,000 each, you can see the possibilities that open up there.
Okay, fair enough. Now, let's jump for a second. I think one thing I appreciate about what you're doing is you have a sort of an algorithmic approach to your activities. You're not flying by the seats of pants. Now, we do have to pause for a second. Sir, this is on video, so we got to say hello. This is, may I? This is the awesome dinosaur. This is the crypto dinosaur. So this dinosaur is an expert marketer for Reg CF, Reg D, Reg A+. And we're going to give you a high five. You get a high five? Yes.
Seeing the Hong Kong T-Rex in its native atmosphere.
The Hong Kong crypto T-Rex. Awesome.
When the trade show floor slows down later, this guy will still be popping around, going hard.
I love it. This is like the best marketing ever. So wait, as a marketer, do you approve of this action?
This has to be the thumbnail for the video.
I know. We're gonna. Really, this is the star. Oh my god. Oh my god. I have to send this to my wife. Okay, you did great. Thank you. Talk to you later. Appreciate it. Okay. Wow. That was different. Okay. So algorithms, not algosaurs. Algorithms.
I live in a world of numbers. I'm constantly staring at analytics. We built an algorithm that really I break into 3 sections: impressions, clicks, and conversions for every traffic source. Traffic source including...
Say it again. Impressions, clicks, and conversions.
Yes, and associated metrics. I'll get into it in more detail here. But for every traffic source, so organic and paid, meaning social media posts, influencer posts, articles, and other types of media coverage, and then paid advertising, if you're looking at social ads, which there are compliant ways to run these campaigns on Facebook, Google ads, banner video or sponsored content ads. Being able to identify each of these and tell what's performing best, you can reallocate efforts, both time and monetary efforts, towards any of these channels that are really driving. And impressions, clicks, and conversions. Impressions is the visibility. How many times a piece of content, how many times an advertisement has been seen. There's metrics for the cost of those impressions. There's metrics for the reach and frequency of those impressions. But break it down in that first category, that first part of the funnel, the marketing funnel, as impressions. Clicks, that's traffic. How much traffic are those activations producing? How much traffic are those placements, those pieces of content producing? Associated metrics include cost per click, click-through rate, unique clicks, all important, and feeding into conversions. Conversions can be a completed investment, it can be a completed lead form, they can be any type of e-commerce purchase or something like that, post fundraise. But basically, we want to be able to measure that, have the most focus on the conversions. However, if we're not hitting our cost per acquisition, our cost per conversion, if we're not hitting a strong return on ad spend or overall marketing placement, we have to look further in that algorithm. We have to look further back in that algorithm to understand where we're underperforming, where we're not hitting the benchmarks. And the reason why this is all so important is not only to be able to tell why something is working or not working, but to understand how to scale, what to scale. My whole philosophy towards marketing, I break into 3 words: test, optimize, scale. Picture with periods: test, optimize, scale. We set up good marketing tests to give us the right analytics, to give us the ability to optimize and improve the performance there, to be able to really carve out the pockets of that audience that are driving and refine that to our next set of tests, and then scale what's working. If we're raising...
And I guess you're applying in their change or correct course midstream based on that near real-time data.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And if a client says, hey, we're raising 10K a day based on the current marketing spend, how do we get it up to 20K? How do we get up to 50K? How do we get up to 100 and close this out quicker? I have to have the data from those algorithms to effectively answer, to effectively map out and plan what's to occur next. Otherwise, I'm just working off assumptions. We're just rolling the dice. I can actually look at available inventory, available ad placements for the audiences that are converting if I'm able to base it off concrete cost per acquisition data.
Interesting. All right, so to be continued. Will you continue and have more conversations with me, and we can explore?
Of course, absolutely.
More of the art and craft and science of what you do.
Yes. We're planning to be at more conferences with you globally, so it could be a regular little thing.
All right. Well, I like that. You know, next time we'll have scotch.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And more dinosaurs.
And more
I like
dinosaurs.
One,
Next time
but
we'll
we'll have flocking through the background throughout the course of the video.
Hey, Jason, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gordon.
Jason
Appreciate
from
having me on.
Digital Niche Agency.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.